While the world trains its body to fight battles, the true warrior begins with the mind. In silence, he sharpens his thoughts like a blade, knowing that the strongest weapon is not held in the hand, but forged in the depths of discipline and reason. When chaos strikes, it is not muscles that prevail, it is the trained mind that remains unshaken. This is not just about resilience, it's about mastering your inner battlefield before you face the outer one. A true warrior understands that the fiercest battles are not fought with swords or shields, but within the mind itself. Training your mind like a warrior is a lifelong discipline, not a momentary effort. It begins with the conscious decision to no longer be a slave to emotions, impulses, or external chaos. This kind of training is invisible. There are no cheering crowds, no trophies, no applause. It happens in the silence of your thoughts, in the moments when no one is watching, and when giving up seems easier than continuing. The Stoics believe that the quality of your life depends entirely on the quality of your thoughts. A warrior's mind is forged through discomfort, by choosing the harder path when the easier one is tempting, by embracing failure as a lesson, and by refusing to let fear dictate decisions. He prepares for adversity before it arrives, not with paranoia, but with readiness. He practices gratitude in hardship, patience in uncertainty, and courage in the face of loss. He doesn't waste energy trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead, he focuses on mastering his inner world. Because once the mind is trained, once clarity, calm, and reason become your natural state, there is nothing the outside world can throw at you that will shake your foundation. That is the mark of a true mental warrior. Still, focused, and undefeatable from within. To train your mind like a warrior, you must first understand that your greatest enemy is not the world, not other people, and not even failure. It is the undisciplined mind that resists order, craves comfort, and reacts without thought. A warrior does not wait for life to force him into strength. He seeks out the challenge. He walks willingly into discomfort, knowing that growth does not come from ease. Mental training requires vigilance. It demands that you become aware of every thought that crosses your mind and question whether it serves your purpose or weakens your resolve. It means observing your anger before it turns to rage, your fear before it becomes paralysis, and your doubt before it silences action. The Stoics practice this through daily reflection, reminding themselves that external events are neither good nor bad, but simply are. What matters is how we interpret them, how we respond. A trained mind is slow to react and quick to reflect. It knows that pain is temporary, but weakness of will can last a lifetime if left unchecked. So the warrior chooses to suffer with purpose. He fasts, he denies unnecessary pleasure, he stays silent when his ego demands attention, not to impress others, but to command himself. Every decision, every small act of restraint is another strike of the hammer, forging a mind of steel. And through this process, he becomes unbreakable, not because life is easy, but because he is ready for it to be hard. The warrior welcomes the storm, not because he enjoys the struggle, but because he has trained his mind to remain clear when the sky darkens. That clarity, that inner stillness, is what gives him the edge no enemy can take away. The third stage of training your mind like a warrior is learning to detach from praise, from criticism, from success, from failure. Because the moment your peace becomes dependent on what happens outside you, you hand over your power to the world. A true warrior knows that external things are fleeting. Wealth can disappear, relationships can change, health can decline, status can be lost overnight. But the one thing that must remain untouchable is the mind. This is not indifference, it is freedom. It is the ability to walk through both applause and insult with the same calm gaze, because you know who you are is not defined by either. The Stoics called this apatheia, not apathy, but the mastery of emotional disturbance. It means you no longer flinch when things go wrong, and you don't become arrogant when things go right. You maintain your course, like a ship guided by a fixed star, while others drift with every wave. This kind of mental discipline doesn't come naturally. It must be earned through relentless self-observation and brutal honesty. You must become aware of your attachments. What are you clinging to so tightly that its loss would break you? Is it the need to be liked, the desire to always win, the fear of being misunderstood? The warrior confronts these quietly, one by one, stripping away illusions until only truth remains. And in that truth, he finds stillness. Because when your mind is no longer owned by outcomes, you become fearless. You're no longer reacting, you're responding with purpose, with principle, with poise. Life may test you with pain, betrayal, injustice, even despair, but a trained mind remains rooted, like a mountain unmoved by the wind. And this inner fortitude becomes a light in the chaos, a steady flame that neither storm nor shadow can extinguish. The fourth stage in training your mind like a warrior is the cultivation of relentless self-discipline, the ability to command yourself when every fiber of your being wants to disobey. This is where most people fall short. They dream of strength, of greatness, of resilience, but they do not have the will to govern their own habits, their own time, or their own emotions. The warrior knows that discipline is the foundation of all power. Without it, talent is wasted, knowledge is scattered, and potential dies a slow, quiet death. Discipline is not a punishment, it is a form of self-respect. It is the recognition that your life is too valuable to be lived by accident. When you train your mind like a warrior, you do not wait for motivation to strike. You act because your principles demand it. You don't rely on inspiration, you rely on routine. You create systems that eliminate choice in moments of weakness. You wake up early not because it's trendy, but because it gives you control over your day before the world tries to claim it. You train your body not for vanity, but because physical discipline sharpens mental toughness. You monitor your speech, your posture, your reactions, not for appearance, but to ensure that every action reflects the kind of person you are becoming. The Stoics believed in living according to nature, which meant aligning your actions with reason, not impulse. So when your mind is tempted to procrastinate, to lash out, to escape through distractions, you pause, you breathe, and you act with intention. The warrior doesn't chase pleasure, he pursues meaning. He doesn't seek the easy win, he builds the kind of character that wins slowly through consistency, through silence, through sweat. And every moment you choose discipline over indulgence, you are engraving strength into your identity. You are telling yourself, I am not ruled by the world, I am ruled by my principles. That is how a warrior lives. The final stage in training your mind like a warrior is embracing death, not in a morbid or fearful way, but as the ultimate teacher and motivator. The Stoics believed in memento mori, remember you must die, not to depress themselves, but to sharpen their awareness of life. A warrior understands that every moment is borrowed, every breath is a gift, and every opportunity wasted is an insult to time itself. He does not postpone what matters. He does not wait for a perfect day to begin living with purpose, because he knows that time is not guaranteed, and one day, tomorrow, will not come. This awareness of death is what gives life its urgency. It cuts through excuses, through laziness, through fear. It reminds you that the opinions of others don't matter, that your failures are not final, and that your comfort zones are silent prisons. When you live with death in your sight, you begin to prioritize differently. You speak with more truth, you love more deeply, and you act more boldly. The trained mind uses death as a compass. It points you toward what is essential and away from what is trivial. You stop chasing things that look good and start building a life that feels right. A warrior doesn't fear the end, he fears never having lived fully. So he wakes up with urgency, not anxiety. He embraces simplicity, not excess. He creates, contributes, and confronts challenges with open eyes and an open heart, knowing that the clock is always ticking. And when his final moment arrives, he does not beg for more time. He nods in peace, knowing he lived by his code. This is the ultimate power of a trained mind, not only to remain calm in chaos, not only to be disciplined in desire, but to stare into the face of mortality and still choose to live with honor, with purpose, and with fire. That is how a true warrior thinks, acts, and ultimately leaves the world, with nothing wasted and nothing feared.